Hello, my name's Nathan, and I'm here today with Consordini.com to show you the Korg Minilogue. Check out Consordini.com for lots of gear reviews, music-related stuff, lessons for beginners, and all that other kind of fun music stuff. Don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the bell button below for more updates from Consordini.com. You can also check out all of my work over at www.nathanclearymusic.co.uk to see what I do and if you'd like to work with me on a project. The Korg Minilogue is a 4-voice analog synthesizer, and it comes in at around the $400 mark, around 40,000 yen here in Japan. I think for the price, it's a great synthesizer and especially really good for people looking to get into synthesis. We're going to be having a look at some of the features, the sounds, a flick through some of the presets. I'll also be showing you some of the basic waveforms for all you synth fanatics that want to hear pure waves. And then we'll do a roundup of some of the pros and cons. One of the things I found myself, and I found on a lot of forums after searching, is a lot of the oscillators, I think the filter is very poppy. So when you press a note, you can sometimes hear a little click or a pop of the filter turning on and off. This can be a problem and has been a problem for me in a few scenarios, especially when you want something that's very smooth and something that is maybe at the forefront of a mix. If it's buried in amongst other instruments, it's not too bad because it gives it a little punchy start with the filter opening. But when you've got it just on its own, on some patches, it does become unusable, I think. I've definitely had a few times where I've had to swap it out for another synthesizer because of this popping at the beginning of the filter. You can raise the attack, but yeah, raising the attack can get rid of it on some patches, but I've never experienced it that much on other synthesizers with the popping all the way at the bottom. So it's just something to be wary of if you're looking to purchase it. I would recommend going into a store yourself if you're worried about this problem and try it out in the store to see if it has this same problem, because I've seen online that there are a lot of people that say they do have the popping and a lot of people that say they don't. So I don't know if it's a manufacturer's fault or it's built into the circuitry. I'm not sure, but there seems to be a hot debate online about it, which you can check out yourself. Okay, so without further ado, let's head over to the overhead cam, have a look at some of the features and the presets and sounds. Here we go. Okay, so let's have a look over some of the front panel. So we have over here on the far left, we've got the master volume, easy stuff. We've got a tempo button here, which obviously speeds up and slows down the tempo. We've got an octave switcher thingy over here. So we've got obviously bottom octave, -2, I believe, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2, easy stuff. We've got a pitch bend wheel over here. It's okay. It also snaps back. So if we push it up and then pull it back, let go, it will snap back to the middle. We've got octaves over here for each oscillator. But anyway, you've got 4 here. You've got 4 octave switches here for oscillator 1. You've got 4 down here for oscillator 2. We've got waveforms here and here for oscillator 1 and 2. This being saw, triangle, square wave at the bottom. So next from that, we've got the shape. So we can change the shape of these waveforms. Obviously oscillator 1, oscillator 2. And then we've got cross modulation depth, which is essentially FM. So we're using some FM-based synthesis here, We've got pitch envelope generator intensity, so how much you want it to work, essentially. We've got sync on and off for the oscillators, so sync the oscillators together, turn them off. Ring modulator on, ring modulator off. If you're wondering whether it's on or off, up is on because it says over here on this nice little display, and down is off. We've got the mixer over here, so just blending the 2 waveforms together. Oscillator 1, oscillator 2, noise generator over here. Big knob is our fun cutoff. So we'll show you some of that in the presets and the tweaking part. Resonance, and then envelope gate intensity. So how much you want it to open the gate at the beginning and punch. We've got a 2-pole and we've got a 4-pole filter. We've got key tracking. All the way up is 100%, 50%, 0% on key tracking. If you don't know what key tracking is, it uses the keys that you're playing to open the filter at different stages. So the higher up you play, the more the filter will open, and the lower you play, it will change the filter depending on how high or low you play. So for percussive sounds, I like to keep it off because I want the filter to be the same all the way through the keyboard. Little tip there. Velocity, 100%, 50%, 0. Again, I'd leave it on 0 for percussive sounds if I'm making sounds that I want tweaking later, but that's totally up to you. Amplifying section over here, we've got the attack, decay, sustain, release, standard stuff here, and also the envelope generator, attack, decay, sustain, release. We've got the LFO section, which I do really like on this synthesizer. We've got the waves, we've got a saw, triangle, square, and then we've got the rate knob here. I've currently got it set... I've got it set to milliseconds here. So we can have the envelope modulator switch over here as well to off, rate, or depth. So yeah, we can play with those. And we have the intensity over here on this knob over here, so how much we want the sound of the LFO to come through. Again, I'll show you all this in the tweaking stage of this video. So over here we've got the target as well. Sorry, I forgot one more thing on the LFO stage. We've got the target, so you can send it to the cutoff, the shape, or the pitch. If you want those wobbies kind of noises, cutoff is great, and then intensity full up, and we can play with this knob here. And this is great to do some kind of really short kind of techno-y sounds which are evolving, because we have the intensity all the way up, sent over to the cutoff, and then again I'll show you later, but we can record in a sequence by moving this knob in real time, which is very cool. It's a very Korgy thing to do as well. If you've ever played with the Korg Electribe, I think mine was called, I had the red one, I think it was SX1, I believe. I might be wrong there, but they had a very similar feature, which is great for drum machines. Okay, so over here we've got the delay, which also adds up as a filter, a high-pass filter, depending on which way you switch it over here. Because we have up here post-filter at the top, pre-filter in the middle, and bypass, obviously off at the bottom. So if we have it post-filter, let's play something here quickly, and I'll turn the feedback up. And the feedback on this kind of is a bit misleading. It almost ends up acting like a intensity knob, because there is no intensity knob on this. We've got the time here, we've got the high pass, how much we're going to high pass the delay, and then the feedback here, how much it goes round in a loop. But I kind of tend to think of it more when I'm writing and stuff and playing with it as an intensity knob or a mix knob almost, how much you want to hear it. Let's have a look. Let's have a listen quickly, and I'll play with the cutoff for you. So in post filter, this acts as almost like a little DJ high pass knob. So if I bring it back down. But, okay, let's stop that a second. Right, so if I go on to pre-filter, it will only apply the high-pass cut to the delay. So it will leave the original sound intact. So let's turn up the delay quite a lot so we can hear it. And you can hear now, if I go like this, so high pass is all the way up, we can just hear the original sound come through the oscillators and stuff like that. But when I bring it down, you'll be able to hear the delay come back in. yeah, pretty cool stuff. Also, it's quite a noisy delay. I've never had a Volca myself, but I've also seen a lot of people say that some of the Volca range and the delays they use with that are also quite noisy. So, I mean, there's another thing to consider. If you're not bothered about noisy things like that, it's fine. It depends for me. If it's in an arrangement, I don't mind. But when it's on its own in the spotlight, it is a bit of a problem. But it's up to you. It's up to you. You should go and try one in the shop for sure. Okay, so now to the fun stuff. So we have down here, we have poly. So obviously we can play up to 4 voices simultaneously. So let me reset this so it's not crazy. 4 voices simultaneously. Duo will separate the 4 voices that we do have into 2 and 2. So we can play 2 notes at the same time, but they will use 2 oscillators. So over here, we have our magic knob, which is the voice depth mode. And this will control different parameters based on what we select down here. So let's run back to poly, sorry, apologies. Let's go back to poly and see what we can do here. So on the voice depth mode here, the function will change into inversions. So I'm playing a E flat major 7 chord, and I can invert the notes by turning this. So some cool possibilities there, especially if you use it with the arpeggiator. You can have some cool fun there. Right, let's go to duo. And duo is detuning between the 2 different notes. So nasty. Let's go all the way. Cool. Unison. Detune again. The function on this button. Cool. One of my favorites, mono. So on the mono, this will control the sub oscillator. So let's go all the way from 0. So it starts to get really cool around the 900 there, I think, on this. Cool, so that's the mono. Another great one if you're making ravey sort of stuff is the chord. So I might have to turn the release down a little bit for this. Kind of Metal Gear Solid sound effect there by accident. Let's go to -7, classic for ravey stuff. Very cool. And obviously the great thing about this is we can apply this to any patch. So, yeah. Let's have a look at some of the other ones. So we've got a 5th. Cool, sus2. Minor. Major. Classic. Sus, 4. Then we got to resolve that back. Cool. Let's have a look at some of the other ones. We've got augmented, which is cool. Diminished. So then we've got the delay, which is synced to the tempo or tempo coming in from your DAW or other hardware device. We've got the ARP. Let's change to a different patch for the ARP. So we can change on here on the ARP, we'll be able to change different patterns. Yeah, this is a really interesting patch. This one has poly, so you can play. It will play your chord into a rhythm. So then we have some random patches which can be cool at times for more minimal stuff. And we've got the random over here on the ARP with which is quite cool for some minimal stuff. I'll play you the raw sound and then I'll put some delay on it, which will be quite cool. So now let's switch the delay on. Also, putting the I find putting the delay onto pre-filter allows you to get more of a wetness out of the delay without clouding it up. So let's have a listen. I'll play the same patch post-filter. So this will affect, so the high pass will affect both the raw sound and the delay. It's nice, but it's a bit muddy. If we put it pre-filter, that raw sound gets through a bit more. play with that delay there, just on the edge. Yeah, so that's a cool little example of how you can play around with this delay in a creative way. And it's quite nice to have, once you have a DAW set up and a sequence running, it's all very hands-on, which I think is one of the strongest things about the synthesizer. Is I love simplicity and things being ergonomically laid out. Yeah. Right, so then, moving on, we have the sequencer over here, which has, let's have a listen over here. So play, obviously play. And then okay, so now we have the sequencer. Let's move on to this, which is great. We've got, if we click over here, we have the first 8 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then press the button again, it's the other 8. So you can have 16 steps. And you can also change the amount of steps in the settings, whether you want 8 or 16. Look, I think one of the great things about the Korg, and they do it on a lot of instruments, is the ability to add in live recordings to your loops or sequences. So let's have a listen to this. And let's add in some tweaks to maybe the cutoff, the resonance, and I love doing it on the LFO. Some of the parts are not tweakable, so which is a shame, because I love to play with the octave switch over here, but you can't record them into a sequence due to the design, which is a shame, because it would have been nice to be able to sequence that as well. Okay, so let's have a play. I found a cool patch that I like. Let's have a play around with it. And also, one thing to note is I have the settings on this to latch. So I have to go past the amount. I have to turn the knob to get past the amount on the original settings in order to be able to use the knob. So if it looks like I'm moving them a lot and there's no sound, it's because of that. I prefer that because it keeps it safe for live performance. Whereas the setting I don't like is when it jumps. So say I move this and it jumped from the original setting on the preset from over here, it causes obviously a jump, and I don't like that. So I'd rather find where it is and slowly bring it back to where I want it. Which you can do in the settings here. You can have either way you want. But anyway, let's have a listen to this. So let's... Okay, so say I like that. We just have to hit record over here. There you go. When the record light turns off, it's saved into your sequencer patch. So now let's have a play around with the... Maybe I don't want it that much. On the cutoff here, on the LFO, sorry, over to the cutoff. That's quite cool. And then let's record a little subtle LFO change in there. And that's saved in now. Let's have a play around with the resonance. And maybe let's have a look at the delay. So that's all saved in there now. And that can give us a really nice basis for a new song. So we can also remove these steps by going down to sequence edit. Oh, we can also change the swing in here as well. So we've got swing and the default gate time. Change the gate time. And here we go. So we have motion clear, and we can remove, we can see at the top, there's cutoff. And to go down, we press this button again. Cutoff, LFO rate, resonance, feedback. Say we don't want this one, turn the knob, clear, push. Oh, whoops, sorry. And then right, sorry, there we go, cleared. There we go. And now that frees me up for another LFO round, or sorry, another tweaking round of motion control. You've only got up to 4, so you have to be quite sparing with it, but it's normally more than enough. We can also change the motion enable over here. On the top, there's on. We can make it jump, which is quite cool. Just another option. But all this, I think it's really cool to have a loop like this, and to have it all at your fingertips is great, because you can just record a single idea with all these motions, and you can chop it up later in your DAW or something and have something really unique out of just something as simple as this arpeggiator sequence. Cool. So that's some tweaking for you and the utilities on board. Okay, right. Let's have a look at some of the presets that come right out of the box with the Korg Minilogue. Oh, okay. One thing I forgot to mention also is what I like to do on the synthesizer, because we don't have any modulation wheel, is to send the LFO use the LFO rather as a kind of fake modulation wheel. I'll send it over here to the pitch, turn up the LFO intensity all the way, get it to a nice fast setting. Also got waveforms over here, so maybe let's go with the triangle because it's closest to a sine. Yeah, so now I can just turn up this intensity knob as a fake modulation instead of instead of having a normal modulation wheel. Okay, so let's check out some of the waveforms. Here's the saw. Okay, let's check out the triangle. Nice. Right, let's check out the saw. Square wave. Let's check out the square wave, final one. Crunchy. Right. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe again and hit the bell for more notifications and gear reviews from consordini.com. And of course, you can always check out my music and my other projects if you like at nathanclearymusic.co.uk. So thank you very much and see you next time.